Well, Kim, speaking about, the job scene, I don't want to
Mhm.
just say the job market, but just everything that's kind of going on. Can you provide some insights from your perspective of like, what do you think people should know?
Sure, no, great question. I'd actually like to share some insights on retention. I think right now there's quite a bit of focus on attracting candidates, which is important. But when we have folks, how do we keep them, right? The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics announced in August 4.3 million people left their jobs, right, and quit their jobs. That's actually about 2.9% of our entire workforce. And that actually was, a record, and it piggybacked off of a previous record in July. So I know recently Korn Ferry actually did a study of 1,100 professionals, and they said, okay, let's figure out why people are leaving. And what they came back with, 30% of the people that had quit their jobs in this Korn Ferry study said they're reevaluating their priorities and their lifestyle choices amid a pandemic. 24% left their job due to a lack of a clear advancement pathway. And 23% left for better pay and benefits, right? So, how do we retain in this type of a climate? I think companies need to realize that what they were doing in the past, the solutions they were applying, don't necessarily apply today. They kind of need to revisit all of their assumptions and stress test each one of them one by one, right? I think employers sometimes have this misguided sense that if someone leaves, they can just easily replace them. And that's a really expensive mentality to have. And we all know that churn, impacts business, it impacts the customers, it impacts everybody. So, what are some of the things we can do? Well, go back to the Korn Ferry study. First is an advancement pathway. If a company doesn't have a defined roadmap for their employees to excel and receive promotions in the organization, they really should start to develop one, right? I think there's very few people that want to sit in the same job for 25 years doing the same thing over and over again. They want a structure in place to go ahead and get to the next level. Next, creating a culture, and that sounds somewhat ambiguous, but we've all worked for people that impacted our career, that built loyalty, that we wanted to follow, right? And then there were others that we just simply, we punched the clock, we got our job done, and we moved on. We just didn't necessarily want to follow them. So for anyone that's not listening and talking to and asking their employees questions, what do you want? What's important to you? Do you genuinely care about their success? Are you willing to coach and mentor them? Are you vested in helping them achieve? And if you're not approaching employees with that spirit and intention, that's going to be a problem. They're going to leave, right? They want to know that they're cared about and listened to, and that they're making that impact, right? Next, and I kind of put both of these in the same category, upskilling, reskilling, and education, right? So, a lot of companies are through the labor shortage, they're actually saying, hey, let's take our folks, implement training and development type programs, whether that be online classes, whether it be webinars, classroom training. Let's get the people the skills that they need, because most professionals consider learning a lifelong journey. I know that everyone on here does, and so do I. So again, they don't want to be stagnant with the same skill set they had, 10 years ago. So hand in hand with that is tuition or education assistance. And again, these things cost money, so corporations need to evaluate if it actually fits. But they could offer a stipend for tuition, not the whole thing. They could offer a stipend for certifications and license renewals or enhanced degrees. And there's ways to structure it where the risk is more minimized on the company. Maybe they have to give that money back if they were to go and leave in a certain amount of time. Next, I think these kind of fit together as well, the flexible schedules and hybrid models. Long ago, the defense industry implemented a 980 workday. Companies like Grumman and General Dynamics, and their employees have every other Friday off. And this has been met with wild success. I can't find one person that I ever worked with in the government sector that thought it was a bad idea. While most companies maybe couldn't go that far, again, offering some type of flexibility to start and end hours is something that gets employees excited. And also 41% of employees surveyed in this Korn Ferry survey said they'd take a lesser dollar amount if they could go and actually have some type of a hybrid model. So for now, that's around to stay. And then I'll lump the final two together, benefits and bonuses, right? While everyone wants a pay increase, sometimes it's just not fiscally possible in an organization. You're increasing your fixed costs. But what can you do with bonuses, right? They're fluid. They're not a fixed cost. You can offer it on a quarterly basis, an annual basis, a spot basis. And again, you're not tied in to go and offer that every single year and hit that number, right? Like you would a pay increase. Benefits. I think we all have been to a doctor in our lifetime and realized that deductibles and copays are out of this world and not getting any better. So for any company out there that's offering nothing but a high deductible catastrophic health insurance plan, and I know several of them, that's what they offer, may want to take a look at that and try to evaluate and see, hey, can we shop around, look at other insurance carriers, offer at least some type of variety that is something other than catastrophic, high healthcare deductible type insurance. So those are a few ways, and we can elaborate on more further in the conversation, but those are at least a few things that folks can capitalize on. And then to kind of put a bow on it, mentorship. Employees working remotely, and Jennifer could attest to this. Sometimes if there's a mentor-mentee program, that can be incredibly helpful, not only to the mentor, making them feel part of the whole team and whole group, but the mentee getting that care and feeding that they need, especially if they're remote.
Sure, that's an important relationship as well. So thank you.